Hello, this is Nancy Hines-Glazer. Welcome to another Meet the Artist, and today we're stretching. We're going to have a musical performance by one of my favorite people in the universe, Matt Mathias. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Nancy.
I'm so happy you're here. We've been talking through the years, usually about other things. We've had you perform at Newcomers Day, and people love you. I think at the time we did that, the band, or what you called yourself, was No Heroes. I know your brother, Mark Mathias, also a singer. He's taken his music a different track. But for the first time, I'm having you on, and so many people know you in this community. And they like you, in spite of what I've tried to tell them. No. But anyway, tell us what you're doing now, because I know you from other different directions. But tell us what you're doing now and why I asked you to come on, would you?
Sure. Thanks for asking me to be here. I'm in the process of making my first CD, my debut CD. I've been working on it for 30 years. I started writing some of the material on the record I wrote when I was 19, and I'm 51 now. So it was last year, right after I turned 50. I had written a couple songs that I hadn't written in years, and I thought it would be a good time to, do a compilation of stuff I wrote when I was in my teens, my 20s, my 30s. I kind of strayed off in my 40s and just performed, didn't write much. And then I wrote, a couple songs, like I said, when I was 50, and I said, let me make a record. And I've been working on it since last year. It's almost done.
Okay, and it'll be released sometime in the fall, we think, right?
Hopefully this summer.
2000. Okay.
Yeah.
End of
Definitely
summer, maybe?
Yeah.
2012?
Yes.
Because sometimes our shows do run, and so we might be watching you in 2013. Now, before I forget, your website is what? Because they can hear one of the...
If you go to mattmathias.com.
MATTMATTHEISS.com.
Yes.
It's taken me years to learn how to spell that, but... so they'll be able to hear your music there, and you're in one particular tune.
I don't do a very good job of keeping up on my website, but I'm going to have someone help and, put my shows where I'm playing and how to buy the CD and information like that.
Well, and what always amazes me about artists and musicians, and you're no exception, is just keep at it. You don't stop. I mean... I think I first heard you at some place, some venue. I don't even remember what it was, probably 15 years ago maybe. And I went, you guys sound so good. And then, about 5 years ago, you came and played for a Newcomers Day. And people were kind of mesmerized by your voice. Did you grow up with that, or did you know you were talented? Or
My mom was a singer.
Okay.
And my brother sings, my sisters sing. So, yeah, it was kind of something that she handed down to us.
Through church?
Dad, not so much.
Dad, I know. Dad was like me. He knows when to be quiet, right?
Yeah.
So did you do that growing up in a
I sang to the radio all the time. My mom sang, so yeah, I sang to AM radio, growing up as a kid. And I guess I started playing guitar when I was like 13 and singing a little bit, and nobody else in the group of guys I was with could sing, so I was just designated, lead singer.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Now, but you told me you're a Columbia High School graduate, so we're known for having musical and artistic endeavors in this school district. And back when you were here, you graduated what year? Tell me again.
1980.
1980. Did you take music here in the school, or
I was in the choir. I was in the choir, and I did a little bit of music theory
And you won the Battle of the Bands, your first Battle of the Bands?
My first gig was here at Columbia High School. I think it was 1977. I was 16. And it was a Battle of the Bands in the auditorium, and we had a packed house. And we had a little advantage. A friend of mine, Rick Iantosca, was a local musician in South Orange. And he was about 6, 7 years older. He was a very accomplished guitar player. And he helped us out. He would come over the bass player's house and help us get ready for this, for this Battle of the Bands, and he helped us work up the cover songs that we were working on. We made these musical interludes in between songs, so we were beyond our years, and he actually got up and played lead guitar on Rebel Rebel, a David Bowie song. We didn't even know. He just appeared on stage, and he blew the house away, and we won that Battle of the Bands. It was was very exciting.
Wonderful. Well, and the element of surprise always works, doesn't it? So, and you mentioned also Mercadanti, brother. I mean, the Iantascas and Mercadantis. I mean, these are names that are known, as well as Mathias. It's a pretty well-known family name in the South Orange area, I think.
We've been here 50 years. My mom grew up in town. She didn't go to Columbia. She went to one of the Catholic high schools, Marylawn.
Maryland, okay.
But yeah,
which is still here for now, anyway.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather was a big wig in South Orange back in the day.
Back in the day. Well, and you know, one of the things I think was so remarkable is I remember hearing the story of, and it's upon which the song that you'll be playing for us later is based, but I remember hearing the story of you as a young man and other kids. Tell us a little bit about the biographical story that helped create the song we're going to hear right after intermission.
Okay, yeah, it was back in 1975, right before the bicentennial. We all used to walk in the tracks in South Orange and Maplewood back in the day. It was just common knowledge. Everyone kind of did it. And we were walking on the tracks a couple days after Christmas, and there was snow on the ground, and it's like an insulator you can't hear too well. And we walk down from Mountain House Station towards the village, and we would normally get off in the old ShopRite parking lot. And where we would have...
know Eden Gourmet,
yes,
for all those
in the
who
condos,
are too young. Right.
But where we would normally get off, a train was coming towards us, you know, from South Orange heading towards Orange, passing us, which prevented us from getting off the tracks where we normally would have. And it was when that train went by, we didn't hear the train that was coming behind us. And I saw three of my best friends get hit and killed by this train. I was the last one in the back walking, and I heard it at the last second and jumped off the track, and the three of them they never knew what hit them.
Were you the only survivor then?
Yeah.
So I would guess, and the only reason I think this is so important is kids are kids, and they're really flaky, and they forget even if they have a lesson they were told don't do the tracks. They've read about people getting hurt or harmed. You can't overstate it, and in fact, you're now being part of the New Jersey Transit Safe Rails campaign, if I think they're correct. Is that correct?
Yeah, I saw an article. It was back in February. I was in Dunkin' Donuts, and I saw the front page of the paper. It was something about New Jersey and rail safety. Because last October there was two accidents, day apart, where two kids were killed, and there was a survivor in that train accident. I think that was in Wayne, and then the following day, a young man was killed in Garfield, I believe. So New Jersey Transit was putting together, a program to educate kids, to stay off the tracks. And I saw this article, and I contacted New Jersey Transit. They put me in touch with the communications director, John Durso, and then I also called the gentleman who wrote the article, Mike Frasinelli. And I told them my story, and they brought me down to New Jersey Transit in, I think it was March. And I met them and told them my story, and they said they were interested in using me to help do some PSAs. And I went back in April and filmed an interview, which I think one of the PSAs just came out a week or two ago, in June. I don't know when this is going to air, but it came out in June.
Right.
And I have like a 4-second part in this PSA. But they said they want to use me, down the road, and I told them I'd be interested in, speaking at middle schools, and doing anything I can to, raise awareness, for rail safety, to just keep kids off the tracks.
Yeah. So that must have hit you between the eyes. That must have been extremely difficult. You were young.
Yeah.
When this happened, but as I actually talked about, when tragedy hits, artists often use that to make something positive, but to communicate a message, create something. It's what they do is create, and you're doing that to share a lesson. But it took you a while to do that, I think. Is that correct? It's taken you a while to dig deep and do that?
It took me 36 years to write this song. I mean, I always knew there was something in me as far as a song that I had to get out about that, tragedy and that experience, but I didn't know how. And it was, a year and a half ago. I was in my studio in South Orange, and I actually had the music, the track, but I didn't. And I had the title, the Erie Lackawanna Line, but I didn't have any lyric, and I just sat down in my office there, and I just prayed to my 3 buddies. I said, "Help me write this song."
Yeah.
I prayed to each one of them individually, and then I sat down at my keyboard, and within 20, 30 minutes, I wrote all the lyric to the Erie Lackawanna line, recorded it, and it was, it was good for me to finally get that out, and then it came right at the same time, with this rail safety with New Jersey Transit, so the two
The timing
were, yeah, it was
converged for
perfect.
you. Well, and so I always believe too that sometimes you just have to wait, or wine needs to whatever, and so this is your time to do that. And what are your buddies' 3 names, by the way? What were they again? Tell me, please. It's important
Yeah.
for the families too.
Kevin Kinkowski, John
Oh my
Collins,
gosh. Okay.
and Craig Strutz.
Okay. Now, and so I know the Kinkowski family, I think, right? Anyway, so that's a tough one. And you were how old when that happened? Because that had to have been.
I was 14.
Okay, so you were really darn young at the time.
Yeah.
Did you find it difficult? I have 2 more minutes, and then when we come back, we're going to hear you play this song. But did it take you a while to even talk about it when you were 14?
Yeah,
Could you even talk about it
back
at the
then,
time?
my parents, they tried to help me, and I think I might have went and saw some psychologist at the time, but I said everything was fine, and I didn't deal with it very well. I was actually going to Seton Hall Prep at the time of the accident, and I talked my parents into letting me come to Columbia in 1977, and I got in a lot of trouble and didn't do well in school, and it took me years, to get my head and my feet back on the ground again after that.
Well, I don't imagine you escape unscathed from something that dramatic, and it was 3 friends, and you were the lone survivor. And there's something called survivor's guilt, and everybody's heard of that. But what we're going to do is kind of take a break. I need a breather, actually, after hearing the story fully. And when we come back, we're going to ask you to play at least that song. Not too much. We want to keep the tease out there for our audience to buy your CD. But will you do that?
Sure.
I appreciate it. And don't turn that dial. Please stay tuned and hear from Matt Mathias and his first CD and original song titled
The Erie Lackawanna Line.
And everybody's heard of that. So stay tuned. See you in a minute.
Once you're hit by a train, this is the size of bag that we'll use to collect what's left of you on the tracks.
It was a horrible tragedy that could have been averted if we had just stayed off the tracks.
I don't want to have to be the one that has to go tell your parents that you're dead.
Make the right choice. Stay off the tracks.
And welcome back. Nancy Hines Glazer for Meet the Artist. We are here today with Matt Mathias, a local musician, actually a local hero to many of us. He works so hard, he sings beautifully, he's out and about. And Matt's going to introduce us to an important song, autobiographical, Erie Lackawanna Railroad. And without further ado, go ahead, and it tells the story of you and some friends you lost on the train.
Mm-hmm.
We used to walk the line as a shortcut into town. Then we'd spend all night just hanging round. We were small town boys with big time dreams, still young and wild in our early teens, chasing all the girls and winding up alone. Night would break, then we'd head on home, down the Erie Lackawanna line, walking down the Erie Lackawanna line. Well, we met one night, me and 3 of the guys. It was late December 1975. Walking down the tracks, there was snow on the ground. There was a deadly silence, you couldn't hear a sound. Up ahead a train coming towards the station. It was passing us by to its destination. On the Erie, like a one line, heading down the Erie like a one line. I was the last in line, walking single file. They had no idea it'd be their final mile. As the one train blew by, we didn't hear it in time. That express coming from behind. Something made me look back as I jumped off the track. In the wind blows regret, the rest of my life I'll never forget. I saw it with my eyes, but it didn't seem real. I called their names, it was so surreal. Standing on the Erie like a one line. Standing on the Erie like a one line. Standing on the Erie like a one line. Standing on the Erie like a one line.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Matt, that is so moving. I've sort of lost my breath for a second, excuse me, but it's such an important lesson. And, you know, the other thing is that besides being a heartfelt good guy and helping out everybody, you do some major projects in town too, do you not? Tell us what you do, because we might want to get some help for you to do that work.
I think you're talking about Clean Sweep South Orange.
Yep.
Yeah, we started that. We're going on our second year. We started that last June in 2011. My son and I, Derek Matthews, a recent graduate from Columbia a couple years ago, we had just noticed last year that South Orange, it looked like downtown was
Bowling down a little,
it was just
bowling
a little
apart,
dirtier
dirty,
than usual.
trash.
Yeah, litter. And we decided to start a little, volunteer group where we would go around and just pick up litter and try to raise the awareness of littering in South Orange. And we got some shirts made, bought some sweepers, and we started doing it. And then the South Orange Chamber of Commerce got involved, and they sponsored us, bought us more sweepers and buckets and gloves. And last year we had Seton Hall. We got about
The
25
Dove students and
Yep.
some others, right?
Yep, we got 25 volunteers from Seton Hall, and we've had some good days out there.
I
and-
caught you on camera.
yes,
Got on camera. Yeah, the proof is there. You're good. Sorry. No, but it really has made a difference, I think. And you know, when we were doing the windows at the holiday time, painting windows of empty stores or even those that have businesses just for a little uplift, people like to see people paying attention. So you're leading by just by doing. You're giving people, I think, a message of inspiration. How did you come up with that? I mean, I remember years ago some man mentioned about doing it, but where'd it come from?
well, I was married to a girl from Austria, and I went to Austria when my son was born. I think we took him over there when he was 6 months old, and I had never been to Europe, and I was amazed how clean the streets are. You could eat off the streets. And when I came back to the States and saw just how dirty.
Disregard.
Yeah.
Well, and disregard
Yeah.
and throwing things.
So I've spent my whole life in South Orange, and I just felt it was a good way to kind of give back and just try to get some other people to join with us, and because we have moms every time we go out, moms and dads asking, you guys have to do this? No, we're a volunteer
and you're not
group.
paid, and
Yeah,
you're
no.
supporting, especially with the budget cuts nowadays. Although it's a
Yeah.
good thing to do anytime.
Yeah.
But
We have a lot of fun. I mean, it's good exercise. I like instant gratification, and when we do clean sweep, and you see how dirty the town is, and then an hour and a half later, you're walking downtown and it's clean. We have a lot of pride about it, and we feel good about it.
a sense of pride, and it's one end of town to the other. It isn't
Yeah.
just downtown, and that's what I like. It's
Yeah.
kind of it's here, it's there, and where are they today?
We need more volunteers because we have different zones all the way up Irvington Avenue, all the way down Valley, and unless we have 15, 20 people, it's tough to do all those zones. But
Right, and so how does one reach you to do clean sweep? You have a website?
I had a website, and I think someone hacked it.
Okay, happens all the time.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get the clean. Is it cleansweepsouthorange.org?
Yeah, I think that. But could they write you by email just in case? We don't want to miss any opportunities. Do you want them to write you or not on your email?
Sure.
mmtthss@aol.com.
mmtthss@aol.
Okay.
But yeah, if the cleansweepsouthorange.org website is up, there's a way to join and sign up on the website.
Okay, and also on the chamber website, maybe there's something about it. Do you
I don't know if they're
I'm
linked.
just wondering about that.
They might be linked, I'm
well,
not
we'll
sure.
talk to them.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. But no, really, because I've seen you out there, whether cold or not cold.
We did it all through the year.
I know, and hats, and gloves, and the young folks are really, they do enjoy it because it's physical and they're helping, and that particular group, the Dove students on campus, it's their mission, really, to volunteer doing something important like that. But for you and your leadership, what did you do? Just talk about it and say, hey, why don't we do that? Or?
I'm lucky. I have a 23-year-old son and a 21-year-old daughter, and they help just about every time we go out, and they have friends, and it's funny, every time they get one of their friends to do it, they love it, and they say, I'm never throwing a cigarette on the ground again. We pick up a lot of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Once you do clean sweep, your whole perspective will change on, there's green containers all over the village, and it's amazing that someone would throw something when 10 feet away there's a green container. It's mind-boggling.
It's almost like thoughtless. It's people are so busy running, doing, going, self-absorbed, they're not even aware of what they have in their hands half the time. But I think that's a good point, that you can teach somebody how to change that behavior simply by cleaning and bending a little bit. They remember the next time. Do you have classes? How do you do that? Or you just call out, you say we're doing it? Or do you put it on the websites downtown?
We were a little bit more organized last year. We're going to get it going again this year. But yeah, usually around town, we'll just tell people Saturday, 1 o'clock, behind, we usually meet behind Spark House Kids.
Okay.
That area back there.
Right,
we start
right.
with that parking lot and then head out to the avenue up to Rite Aid, down across the other
A
side.
sweep mob.
Yeah.
That's what, we just have to change
Yeah.
change the way the panache of that is. But you've also been involved as a person in town. You've played music everywhere. Stoney's Restaurants you play. You and your compadres, and Brian Bauman, who's your sound engineer, and who I'm always seeing you all, and you're never stationary. That's the one thing. You might start out wanting a cup of coffee, but it's not long, you're up and running again. So
I have a high metabolism. I move.
Hyper. Now, you and your brother used to play together, and you do lend voice as well, even though he's chosen a different track. I know him from doing the South Orange Movie Project, so I know he went a spiritual track. But do you guys ever get back together for reunion concerts?
He just played Stoney's a couple weeks ago, and I got up there with him, and yeah, we're talking about we had
a reunion tour.
Well, we had a thing back. I think it was probably the '90s. My mom, her name was Dawn, so we called ourselves the Sons of Dawn.
Oh my, that's really
and we had our little business cards with a sunset and all.
Yeah. I'd like to see that. Because you blend so well, actually.
He's got a great voice for harmony and lead, but he's got a great ear for harmony.
You have anything else you want to do now that you're getting your first CD done? You're breaking the ice. Any new terrain you want to cover? Any new goals you have?
Well, what I want to do is I want to do my CD release party in the fall at SOPAC. I've talked to the director there, and I had a date, and then some of the guys in the band weren't available. I'm looking at October now. So that would be a dream come true for me to be able to do my CD release at SOPAC in that
In
theater.
your hometown.
Yeah.
That'd be outstanding.
The other plug, if I could, we're playing, my band's playing Maple Woodstock, July 8th, the Sunday, at 12:40.
Well,
I
anybody
don't
who
know
knows
if-
music
I don't know if this will air by July 8th.
We hope so,
Yeah.
anyway.
But Maple Woodstock's a great music and arts
It's
festival.
a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and it's family fun and kids and swirling things, and I don't know, and craft fair and all kinds of a blast sort of open in the field. Now, would you consider your genre folk? Is that what you would say?
My stuff? No, it's, I don't know where you'd put me. I have rock songs, I have ballads, I have some country, I have a reggae song on the record. It's a little bit of everything.
All right, and is there any tune besides the Erie Lackawanna line you want us to make sure we listen to? I got a minute left. That's it.
I guess my favorite on the CD is it's a song called "If We Can't Be Lovers, We Can't Be Friends." It's just a nice rock
Okay.
pop song. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say as we're closing, I'm opening up your case because I love it. And like all good musicians, you're always looking for money. And so I want to thank you, Matt Matthews, for giving us inspiration, doing your song, being a safe guy, trying to help kids change the course of the next generation of children and keep them safe, and for giving us all a reason to feel proud. And I don't know what else to say except that you raise the bar on what we all need to do as residents and as people and human beings, and grow from the experience and turn it into something good when it was tragic. And we thank the families out there who lost their sons. And I thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
And we're done. I can't believe
Thank you,
it.
Nancy.
I really mean it. Keep an eye out for Matt Matthews. Matt and Mark singing together, Sons of Dawn, Brian Bauman, Mr. Sound Engineer, and all the good things you're doing. Clean Sweep. And we thank you for joining us on Meet the Artist for another wonderful program. Appreciate it.